Everything is crazy. Freaking Miss Teen Crypto shows up in the house. Suddenly the guys are on time. What the hell? Yeah, I feel like Jimmy, our podcast is over after this. Like, done. We're gonna have to stop because the glasses are too cool. Like that. Like This is where we have to chop this whole project after this. I think it's just like we peaked. We've clearly made it. This is good, and this is when you just like a fighter who wins really good, and then like, oh, I'm good, whatever. I took this way too far. I took this too far. But yeah, anyway, Mr. Crypto in the house. Thank you so much for joining us. And thanks for classing up the place. Something fierce.
Thank you for having me. I mean, listen, I'm vibing. This is a good morning. It's a warm day in NYC. I got my sunglasses going. I also got my little Bitcoin mug. So I'm chilling out, and I'm very happy to be here. So thank you for having me.
I mean, yeah, like we're super excited. You've been quite active in the Telegram community of our channel a little bit lately, but like you've been in the space for a long time, doing lots of crazy stuff. So for people who haven't checked out your website, they totally should. But if they haven't checked out your website and they don't know who you are you? I mean, what do you do, and how did you get started in this crazy business?
So I go on Twitter as Miss Teen Crypto, and my dad has actually been in the space for the past 5 years. So he was talking to me about Bitcoin and Litecoin and projects like that since I was 13, 14 years old. And at first I was like, this isn't for me. This is for adults, people in finance. And then when I was around 16, he showed me a Bitcoin transaction, and all you had to do was scan the QR code or copy and paste an address. And at the time, it was instantaneous. So my mind was blown. I was hooked. From there, I found that none of my friends or my family knew about cryptocurrency and how to use it, what it even was. So then last year, I just decided to create my Twitter account and just try to educate my generation and the masses on cryptocurrency.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I like that your tagline is like, targeted towards Gen Z, right? And I think that's like pretty awesome because like you're right, like a lot of young people, they don't understand it. And these are the gamers as well, right? Like they're the ones playing Fortnite and other games and they're doing online transactions. But I think that's really interesting that's how you got your start. So very cool.
Thank you.
I think we're probably going to do some gratitudes at some point.
We totally are. I'm just sharing this out everywhere because people need to know happening.
Yeah. So
I'll pull it up though.
I'm pretty excited to have you here because I'm kind of out of touch with I think that I might be out of touch with like the crew that you hang with, if that makes sense. Like I'm a little bit older than like I used to hang out, outside of, schools. But if I do that now, people give me weird looks. So I can't do that anymore. Right? Even I'm a teacher, they're like, the class is over, go home. no, but so it did get weird fast. But I do teach, right? And I do teach Gen Z kids. But it's funny because like I'm not really sure if I'm allowed to like talk to them about crypto, like, right? Because their parents might complain, right? Like, because this is like really dangerous, like this space, like, you're going to lose all your money and you only make $5 for, well, I guess it's $10 these days for allowance for cutting your neighbor's lawn. And, like I just wonder, like, how does the reaction come, I'm sure like on Twitter and other social media, right? Like people that rally behind you, they're there because they want to learn about it. But like in your everyday life, are you like the crazy person that's ranting about Bitcoin? Like I am, all right? Like we are, because sometimes that happens,
Yeah, I mean, at first I was definitely looked at like a little bit of a nut in my high school. I just graduated, and I started talking about cryptocurrency towards the end of my junior year. And COVID was going on, so no one was really in school. But while I went back to school a little bit at the beginning of senior year, I was doing videos, and all my teachers in September were telling me, get out of crypto. It's a Ponzi. What are you doing? And I saw your Twitter, but you should really stay away from that stuff. And even my peers were very confused. They didn't even know what it was. And a lot of people, thought the same thing because that's what their parents told them, or people that just weren't educated in the space, which totally, that's what happens, like a lot of people think it's a Ponzi, at first glance, but then when they actually look into the blockchain and they see how Bitcoin works, then it all makes sense. But towards the end of the year, a lot of teachers actually approached me and asked me how to buy cryptocurrency. And, I know I started talking to them about it when it was like 7,700 Bitcoin.
There it
is. And then when it was like going past 20K, I was telling my teachers, get some Bitcoin. And all of them were saying no. And then when it hit 30K, some teachers were like, hey, that Bitcoin.
Isn't this weird too? Like when you figure out, especially as a kid, like, and you're figuring out in this context that all adults are idiots, right? Like, and they mean well, but this is like super normal behavior, especially like having done a couple of crypto cycles now, because we're all old or whatever. But exactly the same thing happened. People were yelling at me. So like I started in 2016. I was trading, got into a couple different things, started promoting it, letting people know what was going on. Same thing. Bitcoin 3,000. Oh my God, it's going to zero. Cool. Bitcoin 6,000. Couple of people interested. Bitcoin 19,000. I've been telling everyone to sell since 15,000. This is like 4 years ago, right? I started telling people to sell because it's gone exponential. Like this is how it ends, right?
Yeah.
19,000. Oh my God, I just bought 20 grand worth of more Bitcoin. I'm like, all right, okay. This is like Bitcoin's 450,000 this year, and somebody's telling you that they just mortgaged their house to buy more. I'm like, well, that's a decision that you made, right? But it's always people are coming in after the fact. And it's just a monkey mind thing, right? Like it's clearly worked. Ipso facto, it's going to work more. And seriously, like you look at the annual lows, you hold long enough, that's fine. But most of them think that they can get in at any point, usually right at the top, and then make $18 million in 5 minutes. And it's just not how it works. So I'm glad that you were there in the beginning telling, listen, like get in at 7,700, get in at 10,000, get in at 15,000, get in when it breaks its previous high. And, and especially now too, like over the course of the next decade, your credibility will only increase year over year. Right? There's going to be a crypto winter that comes eventually, right? And people will like, oh, it's all dead or whatever, and we'll add another 50,000 entries to 99 Bitcoin obituaries or whatever. I haven't seen that in a while, but like they've been saying Bitcoin's dead approximately every week since it was incepted, right? Anyway, sorry for the rant. I'm glad you're there doing that.
I like that little slip you had there, right? Your credibility, but like you said, your incredibility. Like, of course, your incredibility is going to increase over the next 5 years, right? Like, and here's the thing: like, I would have loved to have been in the teachers' lounge that day when they're just like, "Hey, do you remember that crazy girl that was buying Bitcoin? Let's go find her and figure out how to get some."
And really, if they have any sense, hopefully some deep, calm, what the hell have I done with my life moments, right? Like, I think I know stuff, but really, sorry, I'm a little salty this morning.
No, Corey, like we're chill, man. I completely get it because some of the teachers at my school they did give me a little negativity. That's okay. But that's just because they didn't understand. I even was doing a project where we had to come up with a brand new product that doesn't exist. So my friend and I came up with something to store seed words. And I was describing to my class what that was. And one of the teachers that were observing my presentation was like, oh, well, I don't need seed phrases because I buy my crypto on Robinhood. And I was like, oh boy.
This is going to be a longer conversation.
So it's just the lack of education, general education, because this is just something people aren't exactly used to. But once they get into it, they're like, oh, this is so easy. Why was I using the bank? Why was I doing anything the way I was doing it before? It's just crypto. There's always a better substitute for what you're doing right now.
Yeah, well, and we're in this space that's iterating and innovating constantly, right? And it's interesting too, like seeing I think the interfaces like Robinhood and right, like they're awesome tools because we need to meet people where they're at, right? And where they're at is hyper convenience. They're used to apps that work in certain ways. And then, the deeper you get into, exposure to that, you realize Doge is nice and all, but it's, is it that good? It was my first cryptocurrency. I'm always going to love Doge, but it became its own thing. And once you realize with Robinhood that you don't actually own any of the assets, if that's something that's important to you, then you kind of upgrade to, all right, well, I want to actually play in the real space where we actually have access to the real technology, which of course Robinhood will never do, right? Like they don't even have, like they're like Tether on crack, right? Like they don't even have the assets they say that they're selling you They just have IOUs and they settle with their settlement company. Like they don't actually have any of it.
Right? At least
most people don't care.
Right?
Like most people genuinely don't care. Right? If they buy a number next to the word Doge and that number goes up and they sell it and the money comes out, commensurate to what they thought, they don't care, right? And maybe they shouldn't.
Crypto exposure, and it's like when people say like you could buy Bitcoin through them and they'll hold it for you. Isn't that that's like crypto exposure, but you don't really have your crypto.
That's exactly it. Well, and really, everyone's used to that because hold on, let me check my notes. All of Wall Street. All of it, right? So like that's like most people that's all they ever see. They when they buy, they're not buying stock. They're buying an IOU through 3 subsidiaries that have stock somewhere, maybe, hopefully, right? But it doesn't matter to them because if they buy it at a number and then they sell it at a number, then the difference is the only thing that matters, right? So it's I don't know, it's interesting. However, seed phrases allow you to get on stuff like Binance Smart Chain and start, messing around with the ridiculous freaking DeFi game that I'm not even going to tell anybody about until next month because I honestly want to stack a much bigger position before I tell anyone. What?
You got to get yours, bro.
dude, it's a little dark. Like I feel a little guilty about it, but not guilty enough to stop.
Maybe you could tell me about it. Wink, wink.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I love DeFi.
The thing is, like, our community is going to know about this before anyone else. And if it takes off, our community will win.
Yeah.
Mostly, Cottrell and I are kind of just still studying it and also stacking a bunch of shit.
I have a problem with that because regardless, our community is going to win. Can I just say that? Because we're awesome.
What did you say you had a problem with that and then said, regardless, our community is going to win because I am what?
Yeah. Because of it, it's not going to win because of it. It's gonna win regardless because we're.
Oh yeah, no, this is just like this is a toy we're playing with, and I think
we're bringing people like that in here, right? Like smart people, the young generation that knows how to do thinking stuff.
Yeah, that knows how to do thinking stuff. That was what I was. That was exact phrase that was going through my head. Like, I'm excited that we have Miss Teen Crypto here to help us with the thinking. Stuff.
Thinking stuff. I'm happy I can help you with the thinking stuff.
Yep. Nailing it. So what? Okay. So this year, what projects have been the most exciting to you?
Wax is my best discovery, I guess, so far because I got into cryptocurrency. I knew what Bitcoin was. I knew the basics, and then when I got into NFTs, my mind was blown because I was like, this is amazing technology. What we could do with NFTs, the possibilities are limitless. So then when I found Wax and I was like, okay, so I don't have to pay gas fees. I can mint NFTs on here. That's feasible for me and other Gen Z alike. Because I have nothing against Ethereum. I just want to throw that out there. I freaking love Ethereum. Great stuff, great project. But it's just not feasible for Gen Z to buy NFTs with it. I know I'm trying to accumulate my Ethereum. And if I buy an NFT, that's essentially gone, especially with gas fees. But with Wax, that's totally not the case. And I can mint NFTs, and it's feasible for my friends to buy them. $1 NFTs, where else can you do that right now besides Wax? So it just blew my mind. I was like, this is amazing. I want to use this. And I just feel like that's a really big part of cryptocurrency all in all. People, they're looking at number go up. But they're not worrying about how do you actually utilize this technology? How can we use this technology to our advantage? Right. And when they discover NFTs and how you can actually transact the cryptocurrency and use it as value, then I think that's where the game changes. Because I feel like people don't really use cryptocurrency when they first get in. They're just investing in Bitcoin. But when they get into NFTs and all this cool stuff, then they're like, oh, wow, cryptocurrency, this is a good thing right here.
Yeah, I completely agree, and we're starting to see this. Like the trading thing has been good for onboarding a certain very tiny, frankly, subset of the population of the planet. NFTs is going to change all that, right? And I'm glad that you said it's changing the game. So the first thing that we're doing with NFTs, or not the first, because of course I was working with Blue doing the music videos and stuff, but the Uplift is really just an NFT, permanent, or like you own that NFT, you've got permanent building rights in an area of a metaverse, right? We're mapping that. It's essentially a deed and access and control.
So amazing.
Right, that's just the first little bit, and then we're starting to mess around with the expression of value. We have staking of NFTs with Our Planet. We've got all these different ways that you're using this singular chunk of a thing, this non-fungible token, to ascribe value all over the place. And we're seriously considering, like, Upliftium is the drips are going live probably this month, actually. We're testing them now, right? So like the alpha wings and the land that people have, and the active rewards for people walking over your land, yada yada, right? You're going to start to see the number going up in the back office for us, and of course you can spend that on installing pictures. We're going to add some stuff like that, but we want people to be able to withdraw it, and we're thinking of basically turning it into a crystallized NFT, like turning your token into an NFT with the denomination, because Yoshi Bucks work so well. Right. Yes. So instead of releasing it as an actual cryptocurrency, we're studying the idea of actually just releasing it as 100 Upliftium as an NFT, 1 million Upliftium as an NFT. Because there's different things that we can do with that, right? Up to and including, it's actually going to be easier for us to put it to different chains and go all over the place, right? There's going to be some really interesting things that we can do. And of course, you bring that back into our system. It's going to act just like the token anyway. You bring the NFT, suddenly you've got a more Upliftium. So that secondary market for that value, we think it's going to be far more rich by not actually having a cryptocurrency at all, because the NFTs are so much more powerful.
Yes, exactly. There's more interoperability with the NFTs than just the cryptocurrency. So that you guys are geniuses. Really. I really admire what you guys do. 100%. I'm obsessed with Uplift. I got my sister in Uplift helping me build.
That's so cool.
That's I swear. Awesome. She's like 15. I was like, Emma, let's go. And at first I was showing her all these crazy freaking plots. What people have built in Uplift is absolutely unbelievable. I just want to put that out there.
It really is. Like, I thought I was cool, and now, like, as the builders, we gotta get some gratitude. I was just down in the office, and we've got offices where we do our Tuttle Huddle, our dev meeting every day, and we throw gratitudes up or whatever, right? We got those 3 floors because we've only been active for 3 months. Like, what? Yeah. And just the number of builds that have come out just in those 90 days, it's mind-boggling. Like, what? I keep trying to think, okay, what does this look like in a year or 2 or 5? And I have no idea. It's just going to be insane.
Is Jimmy D still alive from covering them all? Because, like, the past 2 weeks almost killed me. I mean, I'm just going to say that.
That's awesome.
But here's the thing, like, what I'm excited for, because I was actually talking about you the other day, is when you get in and you get your community plot. I think we have one set aside for you to come in and build something out. So please talk to us, because Callie and I were talking about it, and we freed up a couple of spaces, and we would love to have you guys in there doing what you do, and see how you fare on these awesome builds. I think that would be really awesome.
If I get a community plot, I'll cry. I'll be so happy.
No,
it's totally
happening.
Don't cry. Yeah, like we want Gen Z.
There's no crying. I mean,
there's no crying.
Well, I cry all the time. Like, that's it's like we timestamp it every time I cry on the internet.
Yeah, that's true. I just made a full pop. It's almost
make an NFT out of it each tier.
Right.
Well, you get 10 Upliftium per tier.
But yeah, like tell us what you want to do with your plot, and we'll find a really good one for you. Like, because that's what we do, and I think it'd be really cool, like, for you to, go to your next class and tell your teachers that you're actually making money playing video games.
Right. Well, this is the thing. Like, you thought, right? You thought Bitcoin was interesting. Get a load of this. And even just like, so there's the uplift, but then there's like, once people start understanding NFT DeFi, right? There's Our Planet. We're going to be doing a lot of the same kind of stuff. Other projects are going to be doing it as well, where just having this NFT will be like having a Bitcoin mine, right? Or and being put in a pool. Like, this is a thing that's going to be percolating all over the place. Zeptra Corey's his own Upliftium drip.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's funny. Cue the Corey crying for 83 minutes. I don't think I actually cry for long enough to do that. But I mean, you might get a good solid 8 minutes of like verklempt tears of joy. That's possible over the course of the last year. It's been a heady year, man. Like, it's I'm not gonna front. I'll cry. I don't give a shit.
I mean, sometimes we go there.
Yep, that's what we do.
So, but here's the thing. I want to go back a little minute because I really like your idea, right? And it's kind of smart. Like, number one, like for young people to be thinking about taxes is crazy. My younger brother did it when he was younger. I didn't. Luckily, I had no money, so it didn't matter at that point in time. But like, you know, when younger people like think about taxes at school, because we don't teach that shit in school, right? Like we don't teach them how to do it, right? And so that's a problem. But like then you actually took that one step further to like the membership card, right? And like I really like this idea, right? Like the NFTs can be membership cards, right? Like we've proved that in Yoshi drops, right? Like we've proved that in Uplift. Like there is no reason to be carrying cards around in your wallet or to be cutting out coupons at stores, right? Like these things can be digitally transmitted, right? And they can be burned on demand, right? Like I go on this rant sometimes because nobody's done it yet, and I just want somebody to do it because I can use it. But anyway, like imagine if you had a coupon, you walk into a store, you burn it, and you get the discount, right? Like that's the future, right? And that people don't get this. That people are like, you know, still doing things in this old way is absolutely crazy to me. And we were talking about Japan before, right? And so like, you know, Japan has a lot of really good points, but one of the worst points about Japan is everyone graduates university and then they have to take a 3-month course to learn how to use a fax machine because all companies still use it here, right? Like, and that's nuts, like, right? Like every single company in business still uses a fax machine in Japan. They're so entrenched in that old school mentality that all corporations do it, and there's paper trail for everything, right? And it's kind of like, you know, people are still paying in cash. They haven't done the American thing where they've jumped, you know, into like, now they're just starting to jump into like, you know, debit card transactions and payments and stuff like that, right? In some ways, they're way ahead of the game, and in some ways, they're way behind. But there absolutely is no reason why like this shouldn't be taking over. I don't really get it. Like, I think for me, NFTs is really cool, but like gaming will be the thing that like changes it with young people. So, but I'm kind of curious, like the people that you have, you know, had this conversation with, that have been receptive, like what are they most excited about in the crypto space? Like once they get it, right? Like what are they saying, this is flipping cool, like I want to do this because
I mean, it's mostly the fact that you could do anything is what people get excited about. When I show my friends, like for example, yesterday I was showing my friends my website, and because we were celebrating graduation, and of course crypto comes up somehow. So I was showing them my NFTs, and they were like, so you just put a GIF and that's an NFT? I said, yeah, dude, your diploma that you got today could be an NFT too. And she's like, bro, what? So it's just like, when everything comes in and you could bring that into cryptocurrency, everything can be cryptocurrency. My microphone can be an NFT. Anything can be an NFT. Your music, anything. And what really like, I think strikes people is that it's self-sovereignty, self-custody, that you actually own something. Because like my friends are like, oh, but like, you know, I bought this song on iTunes. I own it. Bro, you don't own that. You paid $2 to listen to the full 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the song and not just the chorus on Apple Music. So
hey, can we...
with an NFT, you'll have utility. You can actually own the song, and sometimes the artist will give you the rights to use this song. And it's transferable. So, okay, I'm done listening to it. Don't want the song anymore. Let me sell it again. It's just when people realize that they could use this in their everyday lives, I think that's where it really clicks and where people get excited and they really feel like, okay, I could do this with this space. And like I said, like the potential is unlimited here. So a lot of people come in and they're like, oh, I could use this for my business. Just like at the beginning of the internet, people are like, why would I ever put my information on the internet? Why would a store be on the internet? Look at where we are. Everything's going to be an NFT.
Yeah.
For it might seem a little nuts, but it's all going to be something.
Well,
like,
you remember, like you find the videos of them like on morning shows, you know, in the late 80s, 90s or whatever, talking about email, and they sound like no coiners now.
They
right?
sound like crazy people like us.
They really do. Like exactly. Like, and it's the same, right? You have like Bill Gates or whoever, just like, yeah, and we'll have computers and they're gonna do this thing called email and yada yada. And they're like, oh, we're not gonna use paper email anymore. What? Right? It's that ridiculous, right? And so we're on the leading edge of this, and I get so excited that you know, you and honestly everyone else in our community sees it so clearly. we've been showing bands this with Yoshi drops, right? We're dropping, early next month. We're dropping something for a band that is about to absolutely explode. And right, and they're going to be basically re-releasing a single with us, and you're going to be able to own that effing song, right? It's going to be a digital vinyl. We're going to have the whole NFT DeFi thing plugged into it, all this crazy shit. But when the band when the band realizes, and they're like a great bunch of guys too, like I can't wait just to introduce them to all of you because they're freaking fantastic, and their music is killer, and I'm judgy as hell, so like just take that with a giant grain of salt. I hate most music. It's not true, but like I like really good music. Anyway, so when they start realizing, wait a minute, like, and like in a meeting with these guys, their manager's there. He's a very quiet dude, and he's not saying much. Like obviously the one lead singer guy is like super jacked in. He's like totally innovative. He's ready to rock and roll. And at one point we start talking, contract stuff and figuring things out or whatever. And when we're talking about music, a lot of these musicians, bands, whatever, their IP is actually owned by the record label, right? And the manager kind of crops up at one point when we're talking about what the splits are going to have to be, like what kind of IP they actually control that we can use or whatever. He's like, we actually haven't signed with this particular record label that we've both been talking to yet. And honestly, like now we're going to have to carve this whole thing out so that it just belongs to us. Because they're seeing that they could fund their whole next record. They could fund their whole next tour doing an NFT release. And then when we showed them, and this is really the thing about the Yoshi coins, right? We drop 1 million NFTs, something else that could never happen anywhere else, right? We drop 1 million NFTs for free. Yep. And then we're showing people, we're tracking the secondary market on that stuff. And then we just showed that to bands and they're like, where do we sign?
Yeah.
Right? Because you can never get that anywhere. Taylor Swift, like if we do this if we just had Yoshi coins and just left them out, we would probably pull in about 500,000 in secondary market commissions just on the Yoshi coins, right? By the end of the year. That's more than Taylor Swift makes from streaming. It's disgusting, right? And we gave it away. It's nuts. Like it's a completely, totally different model. And it's funny too. We were talking to one of the major record labels, the CEO. They're terrified of Google and Spotify because they're their biggest customers. So they're having to deal with this situation where the streaming conglomerates are where all the money is coming from, and it's not very much. And so they're kind of scared to piss them off. And then bands are like, fuck all that shit. We drop one NFT, we make more than we could do streaming for 3-4 years. Period. Right? Period. Yeah. And then we get royalties on that every time it trades hands for the rest of time. Where do we sign up for that? It's a complete phase change. And watching bands kind of realize that, and you're like, wait, that can't be real, right? Like we said the same thing, but it's happening all the time, right? It really is going to change everything. It's a sense of empowerment. When you get into crypto and you see what you like the space can do and what you can do on your own, and it's all permissionless, mind blowing. Mind blowing. Yeah. Like legit. I know that 18-year-olds can, sign a loan for student loans, like $100,000, but I can't do the same to start a business at 18 years old. But that's like, the student loan thing is such a racket.
But I mean, even loans is nuts, right? Like think about the average loan that the average American has to go to university, right? Like when they get out of university, what do they have left, right? And they have to go through like the government channels or the local channels to be able to get that. Now with DeFi, you have this ability, you have this possibility to be able to leverage your Bitcoin or your Ethereum or your EOS and take out a loan and pay it back over time. Like we're not teaching this stuff, and probably, if you don't know what you're doing, be careful because DeFi can be dangerous, right? But it gives people, like you said, it gives people other options, right? And if someone has a father like yours that is like tuned into it, that can do it, then how much money does that save the family, right? Like how much money is that able to generate to be able to like do something that everybody else is going like $60,000, $100,000 into debt just to get out of school and not even know if they have a job, right? I'm like, I'm an educator that doesn't believe in education. Like that's a true thing. Like I wrote my whole thesis on the fact that education is shit and we should be doing like good real world stuff, right? But like you're 100% right? Like education in itself needs to empower people, right? Like it needs to empower people to understand. It needs to empower people to do stuff. It needs to empower people to like figure things out and think for themselves. So like add that like level on top of like what we learn in crypto and in the crypto space, and like people who are actually legitimately like teaching other people how to use it as opposed to just capitalize upon other people. And like once we get that distinct like across the board, then that's when the game's going to change, right? Like that's when things are going to get really interesting, because now it's not this Ponzi scheme, right? Now it's not this situation where everyone's worried about you losing money. Now it's this situation like Minecraft. I mean, look at how much Minecraft is used in schools to teach kids about stuff. Imagine when crypto infiltrates schools, right? Like imagine when your economics class is looking at the absurdities of traditional finance in comparison to like what that crazy girl down the hall has been preaching for the last 10 years that we weren't listening to, right? Like that's because that's the state that we're in, right? Like we're in that state of like flux where it's probably not going to be that long before it happens, right? And like I'm pretty sure you're smarter than me on a lot of this stuff. Like I'm so like zoned in on my own little thing. Like you're across the board. You're out there. You're looking at Bitcoin. You're looking at Litecoin. You're looking at Ethereum. Like you're into all of these different areas, right? Like, and I just like I think everyone should follow you and learn from you, because that's really important. It's not necessarily about always about like how much money you can make. It's about like how you can empower yourself. And I think you had it bang on there. That's really awesome.
Thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate that. And honestly, like, I've never learned anything about personal finance in school, especially high school. I mean, I took government and economics this year. I couldn't even tell you anything about economics. I was telling my teacher was talking about all these things, and I was just like, but Bitcoin fixes that. And he'd be like, oh, that's shady, whatever. It's like, no, man, no. And I mean, a lot of teachers, like, I never learned about personal finance. I know if you're a senior in my school, you could have taken an investment class, but the only thing with the investment class is there's 4 quarters in 1 year of school. So they break it down 4 quarters, and you watch one stock for each quarter and see if it goes down. That's not investing. That's not. And they teach you, they don't even teach you how to pay your taxes. I know I work an after school job. I got like my pay stub and some form, and I'm like, I told my dad, I was like, what is this schmutz? What do I do with it? Like I have no clue how to pay taxes. I was never taught anything related to finance in school. And if I mean, finance, then I would have been watching one.
Even with investing, like the like following 4 stock. I mean, you'll learn some things, but you'll learn just enough to think that you're smart, and then go to Robinhood and buy GameStop because somebody on Reddit told you to, right? Like, yay if you make money, but most people got wrecked there, right? Like that. That was really, really large players taking dumb money. And I hate to put it that way because it was so fun for so many people, but it's super frustrating to watch because it was all orchestrated. Like, very obviously it was all orchestrated by the people that it was basically the best pump and dump scheme I've ever seen. Right. And granted, like, GameStop took all that money and they're actually going to do stuff with it now, which is fascinating. I think they're like, the last I heard, they actually, are potentially going to be doing some interesting things, but like, that's a whole other thing, right? Like it's, you know what it is? It's like the normal investing cycle. Like, I get super frustrated about that stuff because I watch too many people lose money, right? Because they buy into the hype of it or whatever. But the same thing happens in crypto cycles too, right? We get into a really, really awesome bull market, and this is like a stupid moment, right? Coin's down, Wax is down, everything else is down. Like, this is a new thing we're seeing here, right? And to kind of experience this in the middle of a bull run, I'm still super freaking excited about it. Might go up at the end of the year, might go up in 3 years. I don't care, right? Because we're just going to keep building anyway. And exactly. So, like, but I had to learn that, right? Like, that first cycle, I traded my arse off every day, right? It's a lot of work. It really is. And I thought I was a genius. It's a bull market. Everyone thinks they're a genius. But I was also watching like 60% of the people that were in my trading groups were losing money in a bull market because the monkey mind is terrible. Right? It's not good at this, generally speaking. But then I found out that a guy who put money in at the beginning of the year, right when I did, and it was right around the same amount of money, only made 7% less than I did. And we were both like 10, 15x or whatever, right? So I spent all year working. He did nothing. Like, I hope, and like everybody here in Wax in the NFT space, I kind of feel like you guys all get this, right? We're not going like buying and selling Doge over and over again thinking we're geniuses. We're buying our planet because that shit pays you for life.
I'm still
right?
getting rocked over here, though. I mean, like, the biggest problem with wax is I can't freaking keep it, and I keep having to unstake it because there's too much damn good shit to buy, and it's kind of ticking me off.
This is the thing. Like, but now, like, we're especially too, Jimmy. Like, we're power brokers here now too, right? Everybody in this community is, not just us. When we start learning the lessons that our plan has taught us about community and distribution of a token in that way, right? Talking to Ken about like that record thing. He's like selling 1 million of them. So I put it out there that when those $1 million $1 NFTs sell out, I'm gonna turn the upgrade contract on so you can spend a little bit of Upliftium and turn it into an Upliftium miner, right? And there's 1 million of them, and that'll be its own pool. And other people are realizing this because this is not just us. Everyone's gonna start doing this. And really, what it's going to boil down to is attention filtering through community, filtering through actual usability, right? You have to have some demand side, on the economy. What am I going to spend whatever this is on? And then we just get to remake the entire economy as we see fit, right? We get a do-over, basically. And it's, I don't know. I get pretty stoked about it. Anyway, so Misty and Crypto. My gratitude is I'm just super grateful for you this morning. I'm really excited that you're here. And I'm really excited that you're in this ecosystem. What are you grateful for this morning? Big or small, doesn't matter.
I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be in this space. I was talking to my friends yesterday and they were just like happy about what I've been doing. They were just asking me a bunch of questions and, I'm just really happy to be here and I'm grateful to be in this space and for everybody in my community, really. And the whole community. Everyone's just so amazing. And, I really hope that I can give back more often. I know I gave away NFTs for like an hour the other day, but I want to do that a lot more often. I just thank you for everybody for supporting me. Mwah.
Man, I love that. All right, so now we need a gratitude that'll fit on this tiny ass sign.
What do you think of that? I'm just going to say what you need is a co-host because like Corey loves giving NFTs away for an hour every day. But when you give NFTs away for an hour every day on stream, it's really difficult to run a show. So like just get like pull a co-host in and like
yeah. Get a giveaway intern for sure. I think that'll be awesome. All right. So you're grateful for
community. Everybody.
Awesome.
I'm grateful for the world. I really am. I love the world. Everyone's amazeballs.
I'm in.
Especially the Uplift world, LOL. Dude, this is crazy. I'm obsessed with Uplift. Ever since I got on, I've been obsessed.
Well, just like get in there and start building.
And start hanging out. This is gonna be the other day too. We're in a testing phase for what we affectionately call punchline get thing. What that really is you put a sign up on your community land grant that we're gonna get you. And It says like punch this thing to get an NFT, right? And somebody punches it, basically acts like a button. That's going to publish information on chain at the Wax account Uplift events, and it's going to have their Wax address. It's going to have where the sign is. It's going to have all this information contextually, so that you can read that on chain and map whatever you want to do to it. So you could automatically give away NFTs, right? You could automatically create a DeFi loop of people coming to your land.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we think so.
Amazing.
And that's just what we thought. And this is I think the main reason around doing something like this is that we want to get this information out to chain. So because like these are just some ideas we came up with. We want to find out the ideas that everyone else is going to come up with. There's like 150 projects attached to the Uplift now, right? Like how are they going to use that information? That's just going to be out there. You make a sign, and some people are going to make like events, like parkour thing, like you climb up to the top of something, you punch a sign, you get an NFT or whatever. But like that's the stuff we came up with over like a case of beer, right? Like what are people going to come up with after 6 months of iteration? It's
going to be insane. The amount of growth that is happening with you guys, just like you said, over the past 3 months has been extreme. Imagine a year, crazy madness. I can't wait to see where Uplift is going to be in a year.
Well, and you know what this does, Corey? This allows us to save a ton of time on these streams because now we can just say, hey, Genesis server, these are the coordinates. The first person's punch sign gets thing. And we don't have to send them out. Like we can just do things like this.
There's 20 there. Well, and then like hide them.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah,
like people are going to do giant Easter egg hunts all over the world, right? And like collect them all. Like I know one project right now that's recreating the egg hunt in Ready Player One, and it's going to span the entire Uplift. right? And it's going to use this tech for that. And this is, again, these are just ideas we just came up with, right? So
and our good friend Anders has like places that he's hiding things that nobody will ever find it. Like,
already. Yeah. Like people are building mazes and everything. Yeah, I think and like so part of it is like people are getting in. It's like that when we first started the communities, right? We let a bunch of communities in to kind of start building, and we got the Boyd build and all the other awesome sort of demos of what's possible. Great. And then, we have a bunch of landowners in for the closed alpha. That starts to get completely and totally out of control. We add a few more worlds. Those things are starting to get populated out. We're seeing builds all over the place, right? And, we went from only you're allowed on your land to then, you can whitelist one person on your land to, you can whitelist 3. And like literally we're turning it to 7 pretty soon. Right.
Yeah.
And so, right. And so the people that have land are going to be able to enable other people to come in and experience this. And down the road, like this is the thing, like our servers are kind of handling it really well right now. So we're just going to keep scaling that out. So, the goal is to have thousands of people walking around every day, but then having something to do, which is a question that we get. Like, what do we do there, right? Well, if you knew that, you could go to Miss Tito's land, and if you could find her hidden sign, this is like, you're one of the only people who ever found this. Punch this. If you're one of the first 10 who punches this, you get an NFT. You're welcome, right? Or whatever. It's going to get nuts. More nuts, I guess.
It's gonna be so zesty. I'm like so ready for this. I love
NFT. I'm fucking stealing that.
Zesty. It has the 2 sparkles on the end.
Oh, even better. I'm in for that.
Yeah, you gotta like add a little pizzazz to the zest. Like add a little zest to the zesty.
Right. It's weird that we weren't doing that the whole time.
It should be the zesty land.
I mean, if that's the sign that we can see on the 2D map from your Minecraft metaverse plot in the Uplift world, I'm like totally game. I love it.
It's so cool. I love what you got. Like Ken's world is so cool. Like his like old community plot is like his face, and it's all built block by block. I thought it was an image. So when I first went over to it and I was like looking, I was like, wow, this is all built block by block. My mind was blown. It was just amazing.
Corey?
I love that book, and I can't wait to get more people in it. I know that like my friend yesterday, her little brother was playing Minecraft in that, and he was like, "Oh, look at the skin I got," to his friend, and I was like, "Yeah, that skin's gonna be an NFT, my guy." And he looked at me like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, you're gonna use that one day in other games." He's like, and I was like, "Yeah, have you ever heard of Uplift?" So I started talking to him about you guys, and he was like, wow, that's a thing. And I was like, yeah, when I get more builders on my land, I'll add you on so you can play and see what's up.
Yeah.
I know that's how I got my sister in it. So if I could get her a plot one day, it's gonna go
so
off.
amazing. So I was talking to, and we should have just had it live. I was giving CryptoDaddy.io a demo, right? Because we were talking about it. He'd like express some interest or whatever. He's probably going to have a community plot as well. And, showing him this was that same kind of thing. Like, wait, this is a thing, and he sort of knew it. He like looked at the website, fine, but it's different when you're it's one thing when you're kind of hanging out. It's quite another when you realize that this is a tiny subset of a tiny subset of a tiny subset of a tiny subset of multiple worlds.
Right, and there's so many different servers. I mean, I'm in Genesis. I know there's like London or something like that, and yeah, like there's so many worlds. And I think it's great that like I've never owned a piece of land in real life. I don't even have like a car, but I can own a dope piece of land in Minecraft and do whatever I want because it's mine and it's on the blockchain that it's mine. It's just like
welcome to my world. Like I'm 40 something and I've never owned a piece of land in real life. Like
this just gives me the opportunity to have virtual real estate, and I feel like virtual real estate might be worth more than real estate one day, especially if the platform is successful. And this is going to be freaking mind-blowing. Minecraft is already like Gen Z's game is Minecraft. So once Gen Z gets their hands on this, it's game over.
Yeah, I agree. Like, that's exactly the reaction that this guy had too. He's just like, can't wait to bring his 5-year-old kid in and build. But he's already thinking in terms of like, it's one thing if we're building together and he's not always in town or whatever, but we own this. It's going to be a thing that we create that's like a treehouse that we can visit in the backyard forever. Right. Exactly. And it's a weird, profound shift, I think, in how we get to think about this stuff.
And we we did this thing with our planet where we basically, you know, recreated their world and gave those people who owned that land plots. Like,
by the way, Corvallis is open, guys. I don't know if everybody knows that yet.
Nice. And there's nothing really stopping some multi-billionaire from coming in and saying to Corey and the rest of the team, look, I have all this land and I'd like to map it out on a Minecraft server inside the Uplift world and bring gratitude and amazingness to it, to all the communities who want to be a part of it. I mean, I think that's the possibility, to be able to, like you said earlier, I love these guys, by the way.
Right? I just took a screenshot of that. I'm like, this is so cool.
The first July Friday, the 1st July NFT game day, they'll be on. They're doing like a big release, so they're gonna come join us. That's awesome. Channel.
Yeah, they're cool dudes.
But yeah, so I lost my train of thought. My gratitude, by the way, which I never got to do, but it's okay.
Sorry, I should go back. I'll go back. I'm sorry.
No. But here's, so my gratitude is this, right? Like, I'm not gonna say my gratitude for Miss Teen Crypto, and I have a reason why. The reason I'm not gonna say my gratitude for Miss Teen Crypto is, like, I've left education multiple times in my life because, I mean, all I needed every year was this one student as smart as you, and I probably would have stayed. But here's my gratitude. My gratitude is actually for your father. My gratitude is for fathers who teach their children things that are useful in the real world. Right. And I think, like, your dad did you a really big solid, you know, by teaching you, like, through crypto, no doubt, but by teaching you like how money should work, right? Like how finance could be, right? Like, and that got you to where you are. So yeah, it's a little bit obscure, but, like, it's totally directed towards your dad. And I have a 1.5-year-old who's crazy. She stands on tables. If she ever makes it to, like, you know, I'm not going to say that, knock on wood. Anyway, when she gets older, when she gets older, that was going in a bad direction.
Yeah.
Positive thinking. When she gets older, like, I'm totally going to, you know, teach her how to run my business, because I'm going to be super old by then. But like that's, yeah, like, I really appreciate that. And, like, I want to, honestly, like, I want to have you on this channel whenever you want to come on, right?
Agreed.
Like, it doesn't have to be this time. You can come on and hang out with Corey and, like, rant away about, like, you know, traditional finance and how it's broken. You come on with me and, like, rant away about, like, education, like, any single time ever that you want to come. The beauty of Corey and I living on opposite sides of the world, and some of our other people who are doing, like, shows on this channel, just drop by and say hello and shout out to Gen Z and get that community involved, because, like, that's really cool, and I'm here for it. I really like it.
Thank you. Let's go. Let's rant, guys. Let's go on.
Right.
I'm so ready for this. And I'm grateful for my dad too. He's a smart bean. He's always been a smart bean. And I'm happy that, like, he could pass his smart beanery on to me. Smart beanery.
Something else I'm stealing. Next to Zesty with the 2 sparkles on the end.
Yes. You guys are amazing.
I also think that Jen, if you're out there listening, Jen needs to schedule an interview with you
100%.
for Jen's awesome show, because she's got a really good way of, like, interviewing people and asking some really cool questions, and I would love to hear your answers.
I would absolutely watch that for sure.
Let's do it. Corey, I wanted to ask you, so were you the one that sang on Ken's song, the $1?
Yes, ma'am.
That was your voice?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're an icon, Corey. Like, your voice, like, you hit those high notes. Like, we're gonna get real high, like, banging.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
You layered it, and then, like, it was so good. Like, you freaking got that. Like, your single.
I gotta say, like, and Blue is why that sounds that good, right? Because, like, what I did is, and I should one of these days I should publish, like, what I send M Blue, so you guys can hear how dumb it sounds, right? Because it's like, it's all still there, it's all me, but, like, without being produced and, like, balanced properly, it's like, eh. But then he gets a hold of it and just, like, and honestly, Yoshi's the same way. they can take like because I never do more than one take. Like I just literally just make some sketches. I fire it at these guys, and they turn it into these kind of epic things that make me sound like way cooler than I actually am. So I can't accept any of that praise without just throwing M Blue under the same bus because it's why I sound cool.
I mean,
But on a good day, I can hit those high notes. If properly
totally nailed it. It was just like the lyrics were on point too. Like he's a connector. Like all of it is so good. Like it's just a bop.
For that,
like, honestly, a bop.
You know where that came from? I can't even take credit for that because what I did is I went on Twitter and I said, "Give me 1 to 2 words that describe Ken right now." Right, and the next day there was like a list, and I just picked all my favorite ones and used those. So that like the lyrics of that were like community built, basically.
Like the opening was great. Like, hey there, happy bro. Like it's so good. I cannot tell you. When Ken first showed me that song, I was going off. I didn't even know you made it until recently when he gave you and M Blue the credits on when he started selling the vinyl. My mind was blown. I was like, I met Corey in person. I didn't know he had a beautiful voice like that.
Well, thank you. I am.
Please make more songs. You and M Blue nailed it.
We have. Have you seen I'm Not the Bubble yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, right. Corey, just play it. Like, hey,
right?
you guys know, like seriously, blow your high school up with this and every other school that like, knows who you are. But like this is the future. And you guys, you know Bitcoin Pizza Day, right? Like how big that is, like 624. The 624, the day Corey Cottrell realized that he was a teen sensation.
What?
It would have been way cooler if you could have just rolled right into I'm Not the Bubble from there. I kind of
hold on. It's on YouTube. I gotta like find this stuff. It's like 9 million years ago. Oh, there's that Gratitude one that's really good too.
Yeah, I'm Not the Bubble was kind of like how this.
It's how it started.
It's how it started, right? Everything. This is how like we all kind of started. It's funny, like that's so long ago, but I mean,
there we go. Oh man, maybe YouTube's gonna take us off for playing this. Just kidding. We don't give a shit.
Such a savage, Corey.
Thanks.
I'm ready for the pop. Ooh, is this an NFT?
Oh yes.
Is the second music video NFT on the blockchain ever?
Yep. We raised $30,000 for the Haitian Roots charity with this drop. Fed a bunch of kids in Haiti.
That's all I got left. Sold my house, gold no less. Was a suckling, hard hands. This man stronger than the average man. I'm not the bubble on the pen. I'm not the bubble on the pen. I'm not the bubble on the pen. I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble.
That is so cool.
Day the markets take another day to restart and refuel this moon boy ship. My dreams may be futile, but it's you say, well, my dreams may be futile, but Bitcoin bull keeps charging away. Oh, you see, my Bitcoin bull keeps charging away. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow, that art is amazing.
That's all M Blue.
Yeah, sitting at home during lockdown with his kids drawing pictures at the kitchen table.
I'm not the bubble.
Incredible.
I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble.
I've actually never noticed that pulse when the Bitcoins come in before. That's pretty sweet, actually.
I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm the I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm the I'm not the bubble. I'm the
Wow.
I'm not
Oh,
the
it's
bubble.
you.
I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm the I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm the I'm not the bubble. I'm the
That was so amazing.
That's
I
our
loved
little
every
team.
second of that.
Yep. All right.
Incredible.
Somebody requested it. It's a little self-serving, but I totally want to listen to it too. You want to hear the one I made with Yoshi?
Yeah, dude, play them all. Let's pop.
Okay. Hold on.
I'm
I
gonna
have this thing playing in the background.
I'm gonna have to bounce in about 2 or 3 minutes. But Corey,
Denied.
please stay. But please stay and hang out.
I do too. I have a marketing meeting in like 5 minutes. I'm gonna get like fired if I don't
Dude,
show up for that. So I'm gonna have to
Dude,
do
we
that.
have a round table in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, I know. But when Kristen from Legend,
Yeah.
tells
Fair,
me to show up on
I
me-
got it. No. Fair enough. So,
Fair
but
way.
it was really nice to meet you, Miss Team Crypto, and we hope to have you back on the channel sometime
Not hope.
again.
We're just gonna have it happen. We're gonna
enough.
get Jen in touch with you so that you get an interview there. And honestly, we want you back like monthly. Like it'd just be ridiculous not to have that happen.
I was kind of thinking like bi-weekly or maybe. Even
I mean,
weekly.
I
don't
feel
know.
like you're threatening me with a good time now. So like that's.
But-
Although for real, we need glasses like hers.
Oh my god, yes, let's all get zesty glasses.
I mean,
All right.
yeah. All right, so we'll do this to play it out. Keep an eye out for everything. Well, and I think we have the stuff, the links for all of Miss Team Crypto stuff in the notes. If we don't, Jimmy, let's get that happening.
They're all down there, I think, except for the YouTube. I didn't have the YouTube channel.
and you know she's eminently Googleable and findable on Twitter and stuff like that. And you know you'll see her all over the Uplift, all the time. So anyway,
thank you for come back. Thank you for having me. This was so
for
fun.
sure. We'll have 1 minute at the end of this, but I'm excited to share this with you because this is literally all Yoshi's music, and he just gave. This is how Yoshi Drops was born. He gave us an entire hard drive full of music, and then it said make shit with it, and I'm like, all right, well I made some doodles, and then instead of sending it to M Blue, I sent it to Yoshi, and this is what happened.
Period.
Science.
Drop it.
It's pretty good.
It's power. Where we go one, we go all. 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 Together we cannot fall. Together we cannot fall. Where we go one, we go all. Together we cannot fall. Silence when the sun comes in. Family we are building. We're gonna try. Together we cannot fall. Together we cannot fall. Where we go, we go. Together we cannot fall. Together we cannot fall. Where we go, together we cannot fall. Silence for the sun. This is power. Silence when the sun comes. This is power. Family, we are building. The community and the tribe. We sing to power. We are the tide. We are the tide. We are the tide. The tide is rising. It's rising. It's rising. It's rising. Oh, together we cannot fall. Together we cannot fall. Together we cannot fall. Together we cannot fall. Where we go on.
Oh, that was so epic. It got zesty at the end too. It was like
zesty. Yeah. That's all. Yeah, exactly. Zesty was what I was going for. Didn't know the term yet, but yes. Yeah. So we got to roll. I do want to let everybody know. I think M Blue decided that tune is going to be the digital vinyl that's attached to the diamond for the digital vinyl, like the membership, lifetime membership levels for Yoshi. That one's going to be hard to get. I am exceptionally honored. It's going to be super cool and hyper rare. Anyway,
all this stuff. I mean, it's so exciting.
It really is a lot of fun. And thank you for letting me share all that stuff. I always get like super verklempt about like sharing music with new people.
No, this was so awesome. I'm so happy. I'm bopping right now.
Yeah, awesome. It's fun. Yeah, it's cool now that I get to just brag about how amazing Yoshi and M Blue are as producers. Because seriously, they make it sound like really fun.
Amazing.
Cool. I'm not gonna lie. All right, Misty Crypto. Thank you so much for joining us. Legitimately, let's get you on the schedule again really soon. Make sure you talk to Cowie and Jimmy about the land grant because that's already in the works. We're gonna figure that out.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Happen.
Excited.
Cheers, guys.
Oh!
Ciao. Hey, you want to do the chop?
Oh, sure. See you later, everyone. Stay zesty.